Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let us continue with our chapter on TQM. So in the previous video, we have already discussed on the importance of quality, why quality is important, and then what are the things that the customer wants and everything, and it all goes back to the quality. And there are two important things why quality is important for the organization. Number one, that will lead to a better quality products, more reliability. So when your product is perceived as having a superior quality than lower quality products, of course the customer would prefer to buy your product over the others, and you are able to charge higher prices. And then based on that, you are going to get more profits. On a different note, by focusing on the quality, you can be more efficient. You try to become effective, and then at one level you will become efficient. So when you experience that efficiency level or that economies of scale, you are able to increase your productivity. And then once you increase your productivity, so you can lower your costs, and then you can get more profits by being able to sell more of your products. So the next one that we are going to discuss is on the total quality management. So as the term implies, total, so now we are not only focusing on one area, but now we are focusing on all value chain activities within the organization. So every department is responsible to become efficient. Every department, every function within the organization needs to focus on how they can become better and provide a better quality of services to the employees or to the customers. So there are several steps to successful implementation of TQM. Number one, you need to have a commitment, organizational commitment to quality. Not only at the top, the quality will be spoken not only at the top level, but also at the middle level, the functional level, as well as at the operational level. So everybody is concerned about the quality. So if we found that one of the employee is not complying to the rules policy within the organization, so we will become the whistleblower, because it is not about us to inform the top management about the miscompliance or about the disobeying of the rules and regulation, but we understand that we are responsible to our commitment towards the quality of the organization. And then focus on the customer and find ways to measure the quality, uh, and then set goals and create incentive. This is what the 3M, a big organization like 3M is doing. They are giving rooms for the employee to be creative, and then they will provide incentive if they are able to come up with a solution or innovative idea on how they can be better in terms of the quality time, in terms of the production time, and then solicit input from employees, allow feedback from the employees, because they are the ones who are doing the job, so they know on how to improve the process. And then identify defects and trace them to their source, introduce just-in-time inventory system, work closely with suppliers, design for ease of production, and then break down barriers between functions. So if we understand the importance of the value chain and how each of these function is interconnected to one another, so we know that we need to identify the barriers that would affect the cohesiveness between one department, between one function to another function. Because even if there is one flaw in one particular department, that will affect the whole process of total quality management. So the goal of Six Sigma is to improve the company's quality to only 3 defects per million by systematically altering the way all the process involved in value chain activities are performed. So especially for the production house lah, for manufacturing company, and so the the objective is trying to improve the quality by systematically improving how value chain activities are performed, and then using statistical methods to measure the improvement. So what is the par value of the statistical measure of quality under the Six Sigma is that they only allow 3 defects per million of production. So that is the level, the goal of the Six Sigma. And then Six Sigma shares with TQM its focus on the improving value chain processes to increase the quality. So the similarity between the Six Sigma and the TQM is that both of them is focusing on how to improve the quality. So this is also a good question. And differentiate between Six Sigma and TQM. So both of them are focusing on the quality, but it differs in the sense that TQM emphasize on the top-down approach and wide employee involvement. Top-down and wide employee involvement. However, the Six Sigma approach for process they are focusing on problem solving. They are focusing on problem solving because in the Six Sigma approach, what they will do is that they will create teams, expert teams that would act as a change agents. And in organizations, they will call these agents or change agents as green belts or black belts, in which they will take control of the problem and try to identify solution to the problems, and then they will train the employees on how to implement the solutions. That is the difference of the Six Sigma. So kalau TQM is a top down and employee wide involvement, but the Six Sigma, they will appoint special team agents, not everybody, but special agents in the organizations who will act as a green belts or black belts in the organization, in which their function is to focus on identifying problems, to take control of the existing problems, and also identify solutions to the problem and educate employees who are going to perform that particular function. So that is the difference between Six Sigma as well as TQM. So the next one is on how we can improve efficiency within the organization. Number one, yes, we need to focus on the facilities layout, on how the work is being performed from one function to another function. The strategy of designing your machine worker interface would increase your operating system efficiency. So there are 3 layouts options that we have: product, process, as well as fixed position. So this is the layouts product. So we can see that one department, the output of one department is very important to the input of the other department. If process layout, yeah, the workflow can go from one department to another department depending on the work process. And then the fixed position layout, in which that all of the departments is being produced in different locations in different supplier, for example like car manufacturing or airplane manufacturing, and then all of the parts will be brought into the final stage, and then a final assembly plant, and then they will assemble all of the parts in order for you to come up with the final product. So the first one, we talk about the product layout. Product layout, machines organized is performed at workstation arranged in a fixed sequence, mass production, car assembly line, from one department to another department, like baking facility, and there is a weighing, and then mixing, and then baking, and then baru pergi kepada production. So that is also a product fixed product layout. And then we have a process flexible layout. We have process layout, self-contained workstations not organized in fixed sequence. There is no sequence. You can start anywhere depending on the work process. For example, like furniture manufacturer, this is more flexible but less efficient. Sometimes the product may go back and forth in the same department over and over again. So the product can go to whichever workstation needed to perform the next operation. And then we have the flexible manufacturing, the sets of techniques attempt to reduce the cost associated with the product assembly process or the way services are delivered to the customer. So no, this is the fix. We go for the fixed position layout first, and semua dah haywire, and so we talk about product and then process, and the next one is fixed position layout. So we go to the fixed position layout, like airplane manufacturing. Product stays in fixed position and components produced at remote stations brought to the product for final assembly. And finally, we have facilities, flexible manufacturing, the set of techniques that attempt to reduce the cost associated with the product assembly process or the way the services are delivered to the customers, able to produce many more varieties of a product than before in the same amount of time. Example, how patients are routed through a hospital. So in the flexible manufacturing, sometimes you are going to make an adjustment in terms of the route or route of each of the patient in the hospital, so that you can minimize the amount of waiting time for each of the patient. So if you can minimize that, so that denotes improving quality by the hospital. So that is something that is also being seek or perceived or pursued by the each of the patient at any of the hospitals. So we talk about different strategy on how to improve our efficiency. We can use a just-in-time inventory system. This is also quite famous, in which the components to the assembly line just as they are needed to drive down the cost. You will only obtain the components at the time when you want to assemble your final products. So why is this an important strategy? Because it involves major cost saving that can result from increasing inventory turnover and reducing inventory holding costs. So now you don't need to have any inventory holding area anymore, and so you can let go of that inventory facility, because now you are going to focus on just in time inventory system. So self-managed work teams produce an entire product instead of just part of it. Team members learn all tasks and move from job to job. Teams can increase productivity and efficiency. So this is what we call a self-managed work teams. They can do almost every single function within that system. So they can manage their own times and their own work teams. And finally, we talk about process in re-engineering and efficiency, the fundamental rethinking and radical redesign of business processes to achieve dramatic improvement in critical measures of performance such as cost, quality, service, and speed. The last time when we talk about banking, waiting time, and then customer waiting time at banks, and as well as at Pizza Hut restaurants and everything. So that's what we call as process re-engineering. What they are trying to focus on is on how to increase the delivery of the speed of their services, and also in terms of to reduce the time that the customers are waiting, the waiting time by the customers at banks or at restaurants such as pizza and everything. And when they are trying to do that radical thinking or rethinking on how they can redesign the business processes, so that they can minimize the amount of time the customers have to wait at their respective banks, outlets ataupun restaurants, that is also part of the effort in order for you to improve your efficiency. So that would denote the end of this particular chapter. I know that there are more slides within the slides that have been provided to you, but we based on our syllabus, we only cover up until the efficiency part. So the remaining of the slides in this particular chapter content will not be covered. So that's the end of this particular chapter. Peace out. Assalamualaikum. Have a good day.